Good evening, and I welcome you, students. We are starting with a very amazing and important topic, gravitation. I hope you already have heard the what is all about gravitation. You know that if you throw a stone upward, what happens? It falls back on the earth. Is it right?
Yes, sir.
If you drop from a height, they are falling towards the earth. You know, moon is going around the earth, and you also know the earth is moving around the sun, planetary motions. What is important, student? Why all this is happening, and how can we explain it? You have read the chapter of the motion of the objects. Something is moving, and the something is moving. If it is moving with a constant velocity, it will continue unless and until we apply a force on that. You are aware of the cause of the motion. Why anything should move? If I apply a force on a stationary object, it will start moving. Otherwise, you know the inertia operates. It should continue to be in a state of rest. So, if you want to change the speed or direction of the objects, some force is required. Why will a stone fall downward towards earth? What we are doing, a free fall, we are not doing anything, but it is coming itself towards the earth. Can it come towards the earth without any force?
No, sir.
Can the moon orbit around the earth without any force?
No, sir.
Can the planets move around the sun without any force?
No, sir.
Actually, you know the story of this. Newton was sitting under a tree, and what he found, an apple is falling. Apple is falling down. Now he was interested to know why the apple falls on the towards the earth, towards the ground. Why it is not going away from that? Therefore, students, these daily observations which we have are telling us there is some force which is acting on these objects. Or in other words, I can say if objects are falling on the earth, then there is some force with which earth is attracting these objects toward itself. But this force is not visible to me. This is not visible. And it is acting at a distance. It is also acting at a distance. The stone is falling from a height. So now we understand that there is a force with which the earth is attracting the objects toward itself. Or if our planets are orbiting around the sun, there is a force with which the sun is attracting these objects, but they are moving in a elliptical or circular orbits. So this is the story what we are now talking today. That force which is responsible for attraction of one object by another is nothing but gravitation. When earth attracts objects toward itself, that is what we call it gravity. Gravity. Earth is attracting the stone toward itself. When you throw a stone, it goes to a height, comes back. Objects are falling towards the earth. We are sitting on the earth, but we are not falling apart from the earth. So what keeps us on earth? What keeps the objects on earth? Again, we are saying there is a force which is acting on all these objects, and that's what we are talking of, gravitation. This is what the Newton, sitting under a tree when apple fell, said, okay, I understand that a force is acting, and these same type of forces are responsible for the fall of the apple from a tree or the motion of moon around the earth. Okay, that is okay now. That's what we are saying, student. Now we are talking about what is the meaning of gravitation. We are saying gravitation means earth attracts everything towards itself by an unseen force of attraction. Earth is attracting towards itself. by unseen force of attraction. We can't see. Can you see the force of attraction?
No,
Is it
sir.
visible? No. If a stone is falling, can you see the force? No. But if I pull a cart, then I know where I am applying the force. So the force of attraction is known as gravitation or gravitational pull. So first important point, what is gravitation? What is a gravitation? We can say that Earth is attracting everything towards itself by an unseen force of attraction. This force of attraction is known as gravitation. That's what is a gravity of the Earth. What keeps us on the ground? Gravity of the Earth. Let us see what are some of the examples of force of gravity. The force that causes a ball you throw in the air to come down again. Here is a ball, student. You throw the ball upwards, then it reaches a height. What happens? Then it starts falling back towards the earth. What is this due to? Force of
Gravitation.
Force of gravity. Second example, the force that causes the moon to revolve around the sun. Moon to revolve around the earth. Why would moon revolve around the earth, student? You know the mass of earth is bigger than the mass of the moon. And the earth, and you know moon is revolving around the earth. Again, we are saying this is due to gravitational force. Earth is attracting what we said, everything toward itself by a force which we are calling as gravitational pull or a gravitational force. Another example, the force that causes an apple to fall downward from an apple tree. As we talked about the story of the Newton. While he was sitting under a tree, apple fell on him, and what we say, okay, the earth is attracting the apple towards itself. That is a gravitational force or a gravitational pull. The force that keeps you walking on earth instead of floating away into the space. You have seen, we are walking on earth, or are we floating on earth?
Walking on it.
Have you seen the astronauts were floating in the spacecrafts? They have shown it so many times. You've seen the pictures in the screen of TV. Where they are floating, at what point they start floating, students? What do we call that? You have seen what they say, zero gravity. And you know, a lot of space flights are taking place commercially now in USA, where people want to experience zero gravity, where they want to float. So if there was no force of gravity, students, what will be our state? Where will we be? We will be floating, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
How long you can float then? The life, what will happen to the life? How long you can float? Okay, see the situation. The force that keep you walking on earth. The force that holds the gases on the sun. There are gases on the sun. There is atmosphere on earth also. What is holding this atmosphere on earth? Can the atmosphere exist? You know, there is a vacuum also in between. When we said light is reaching from sun to earth, in between light is traveling through vacuum. Vacuum means nothing, no atmosphere. So the force that holds gases on the sun, whatever gases are there, what is holding them is again the gravitational force of the sun. The force that the moon, force from the moon that causes tides of the oceans. You have seen what happens, what we are talking, student, tides. There are tides which are observed, student, tides. These tides, what are the tides? The moon has its own force of attraction, gravitational force. So what happens? The oceans, they are tides because of the gravitational pull of the moon to the oceans or the water. So students, these are some of the examples which we are talking about, what we are talking examples. Now, let us come further, student. Why doesn't the moon fall into the earth? Another question is coming, student. Why the moon is not falling on the earth? What do you think? Why does not the moon fall onto earth? You are saying Earth is attracting the moon towards itself, but moon has not fallen on the Earth. Moon, but it is moving around the Earth. So what is important? The motion of moon around the Earth is due to a force which we call as centripetal force. What is a centripetal force? Centripetal force. The force is provided by the gravitational pull of the Earth. As we said, Earth is attracting the objects toward itself, what we call as a gravity of the Earth, gravitational pull of the Earth, gravitational force of the Earth. So what is happening? Earth is providing a centripetal force, which is force of attraction, to the moon. And if there was no such force, the moon would pursue a uniform straight line motion. It will just fly away. But then you see, the moon's velocity and distance from Earth allows it to make a perfect balance between fall and escape. There are two possibilities. What we are saying, this is your Earth, student, and okay, moon is having smaller mass than Earth. You are saying the moon is orbiting around the Earth. This is your moon, students. Now what can happen? The moon, because of the centripetal force, there is a centripetal force which is by which the Earth is attracting the moon towards itself. But it is not falling. You can see it is moving in an elliptical orbit. What is the story here? The moon is moving with a velocity. Because of this force, there is a continuous, you can see, change in velocity. Direction of the moon is changing all the time. And there is a perfect balance between the distance of the moon from the Earth. So the moon's velocity and distance from the Earth allows it to make a perfect balance between fall and escape. Either it can fall or it can escape also. It can go fly up like this. It doesn't also escape. So it causes the velocity of rotation of the moon was a little bit faster. It would have escaped the Earth. So there is a complete balance between the velocity of the moon, what we are saying, between the velocity of the moon of the rotation with which it keeps rotating. If the velocity will become even slightly larger, it will fly off the Earth. So it would have escaped the Earth's gravity. So the moon does not fall onto the Earth. That means, student, what we are trying to say is that all the time there is a force of attraction you have observed, which is responsible for the motion of the moon around the Earth, the motion of the planets around the sun, the fall of the apple. Does the moon fall towards the Earth? An orbit is essentially a path of constant free fall. Actually, when we say this is an orbit around which the moon is moving, it's almost a constant free fall. Moon is falling towards Earth. However, it also has orbital speed from the momentum gained during its formation, and it allows to fall around the Earth with a trajectory that follows the same curve as the Earth's surface. So it keeps on or in an orbit around the Earth. The moon is in an orbit around the Earth. That's what we are saying, students. Important point is, students, does only Earth attracts the moon, or moon also attracts the Earth? What do you think? Only Earth is attracting the moon, or moon is also attracting the Earth?
The moon is also attractive.
Moon is also attracting. Actually, we will see just now, but we talk about gravitation. Every object which has a mass has a force of gravity. If I keep two objects here, two masses here, they are also having gravitational pull for one another. But still we don't see them. We don't see them. What is the reason? We will explain very soon. So what we are saying, that this type of phenomena which we are saying, that there is a gravity of the Earth, there is a gravitational force. So that is what is responsible for all the examples which we have given. All right. There was a question, what keeps the moon in orbit? Gravitational attraction provides centrifugal force needed to keep planets in orbit around the sun and all types of satellites in orbit around the earth. The earth's gravity keeps the moon orbiting around us. This means gravity makes the moon accelerate all the time, even though its speed remains constant. So there is an acceleration which is produced continuously. Otherwise, what will happen? Then they cannot be in an orbit. So the direction is changing all the time. That means velocity is changing. So the gravity makes the moon, the gravity of the earth makes the moon accelerate all the time, even though its speed remains constant. Speed remains constant, but direction is changing. Therefore, there is what we say, it is accelerating all the time. What is the reason of acceleration? The gravity of the earth. Similarly, we know what is happening and the reason for the gravity of the earth. To understand this, let us perform an activity which they are talking in the NCERT. He says, take a piece of thread. You will see here is a boy. This is a piece of thread. Okay? Hold the other end of the thread and whirl it around. This is a piece of thread. There is a stone here. This is a stone. What we are doing, we are whirling it around like this. Okay? What is happening, student? Note the motion of the stone. So long as you hold this, it will, you are applying the force, it keeps on rotating, it keeps on rotating. But as soon as you will release the thread, what will happen? If you are holding it, the stone is moving in a circular path with certain speed and changes the direction at every point. That change in direction involves in change in velocity. Change in direction means what, student? Change in direction every moment. Every moment means student, there is a change in velocity. Change in velocity. Change in velocity means what is happening, student? This it means it is getting accelerated all the time. Every moment there is acceleration which is produced. The force that causes this acceleration keeps the body moving along the circular path is acting towards the center. And that force which causes acceleration, okay? The force which causes acceleration, which keeps the body moving, which keeps the stone moving or any body moving, okay? In a circular, okay? In moving along a circular path, in a circular path, okay, is acting towards the center. Is acting towards the center, and this is center. This force is called centripetal force. This force is called centripetal force or center seeking force. What we call center seeking force. So if the centripetal force is not there, then what will happen? Then the stone will just, what will happen? Then it will, the stone flies off in a straight line. In the absence of, what will happen, student? In the absence of centripetal force. If centripetal force is absent, what will happen to the stone? Stone flies off along a straight line. Stone will fly off along a straight line. So this stone will fly off, students, along a straight line. Thus, in the absence of the centripetal force, the stone flies off. It will fly off, student, along a straight line. Along a straight line, it will fly off, students. The straight line will be tangent to a circular path. The straight line will be a tangent to to the circular path. What is the meaning of a tangent, student? Consider a circle. This is a circle, student. So what happens if I consider a point B, student? If I draw a straight line that meets the circle at one and only one point. Straight line. This is a straight line. What is this? Straight line. A, B, C. A, B, C is a straight line. Is a straight line. Can you see the straight line?
Yes, sir.
And this straight line, ABC is a straight line. It meets the circle at one and only one point. Meets the circle at which point? At point B only. Point B only. Only one point. Only one point. Okay? This is called tangent to the circle. And this is tangent to the circle. So what we find, student? So this is what we call as tangent. This line is a tangent to the circle. So A, B, C line is a tangent to the circle. This A, B, C line is nothing but tangent to circle. This is a straight line which meets the circle at only point, student. So this is what we are saying. If the centripetal force is not there, if the force is center seeking force is not there, what will happen? The stone will fly off horizontally. It will fly off like this and making a tangent to the circle. So what keeps the moon then orbiting around the earth? This is very clear. The motion of moon around the earth is due to centripetal force. So important students, that the motion of the moon is due to which force? Centripetal force, which we already explained to you. So the motion of moon around the earth is due to centripetal force. Centripetal force is provided by the force of attraction of the earth or the gravitational force of earth. If there was no such force, the moon would pursue a uniform straight line motion. Right? So
Yes.
what force is there? Centripetal force, due to which moon is orbiting around the earth. The question is, student, as I said, you have seen moon orbiting around the sun, planets orbiting around the moon, orbiting around the earth, planets orbiting around the sun. If I say that here are two objects of mass m1 and m2, what is happening? Are they also having a gravitational force? Are they also having gravitational force? What do you think? They are having gravitational force?
Yes, sir.
But do you see that they are getting attracted towards each other? Do you ever see that? You are sitting on a table. You are also having a mass. Are the books coming towards you, or the objects near you, are they coming and are they moving around you, or do you see them attracted by you, or you being attracted by the walls of the room, though they are all having masses? Is it true? So
No, sir.
we are not attracted, but there is a force between me and other objects. Yes or no? There is a
Yes,
force.
sir.
There is always a gravitational force between any two objects which have masses. If I say there is object A, object B, if they have masses, there is a gravitational force. But then we don't experience it, we don't see it. What could be the reason, students? What could be the reason? What do you think it could be? What could be the reason, student? We don't experience this. If I see a very tall building, then it has a big mass, but I am not attracted by this. And you are saying every mass is attracting every other mass by a force which we call as a gravitational force. But we are experiencing that in earth of the moon or our objects are falling towards the earth. What do you think could be the reason?
Sir, because our mass is very large.
Our mass is very large or small?
Sir, if we compare it to the books, then it's very large, and if we compare to the buildings, then it's very small.
Then why should not be attracted then if it is, you are saying that? What do you think? The story is that we are saying that not only there is always a gravitational force between any two objects which have masses. But the gravitational force is so small, insignificant, negligible, that this force is very, very small. It is there, but it is so small that it doesn't go towards it. Moreover, the gravity force, the force of Earth's gravitational force is much, much bigger than these forces. So Earth gravity attracts them and they are not moving towards each other. They are not moving towards each other. And also, you know, in between there is a force of the friction. There is also a force of friction between the objects. So the force is there, but that force is very, very small, very, very negligible. We'll see what is the magnitude of these forces very soon. So we are saying already it is not that there is a gravitational force between Earth or Moon or between Sun or other planets. Gravitational force is there between any two objects, but what is the magnitude of that? If it becomes very, very small, negligible, then we don't experience it, because then the force of gravity is much bigger than that. So what we are saying now, every object in the universe attracts every other object by a force of attraction called gravitation. Important point. By a force of attraction, which we are calling as a gravitation. You know, in science, you have seen other forces also. If I bring one magnet over other, there is a, what happens? Magnetic forces are there, right? So that you have seen the attraction of one magnet by another. Opposite poles attract, you know, and like poles repel. So we have seen there are different type of forces which are there, but gravitational force is very, very small, very, very small as compared to the other type of forces. But every object, we are saying, in the universe attracts every other object by a force of attraction called gravitation. Now this, if I say there are two objects of M1 and M2, we are saying this force is directly proportional to the product of the masses. Directly proportional to the product of the masses of the objects. Here I have taken two objects, one of mass m, another of small. One is a bigger, other is smaller. For example, Earth is bigger than Moon. Earth is having more mass than Moon. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So the mass of Earth is more than the mass of Earth. So one mass is bigger, other is smaller. So we are saying there is a force. The force of gravitation is there between two masses, which is directly proportional to product of the masses. M is the mass of one object, small m is the mass of the other object. Then number 1 point, that it is directly proportional to product of the masses. That means bigger the mass, the force will become more. If the mass is small, the force will become less. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So it depends on the masses. And second, we are saying the force is inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. Here you can see what is the distance between the two masses. I am taking from the center. This is the center of the mass of object 1. This is object 2. It is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. That means, student, if I increase the distance, what will happen? The force will become less. And if I decrease the distance, it will go by 1 by d square. 1 by d square. For example, if I change the distance to 3 times, what will happen? Then it will become, if d becomes 3 times, student, d dash is 3 times of d, then what happens? Force will become 1 by 9th times. D the square is 9. So you can see with the increase in distance, the force is increasing by the square of the distance. This is called law of gravitation or the universal law of gravitation. So here what we are trying to say, what is universal law of gravitation? We are coming to very important point now, students. We are saying every object is attracting every other object by a force, which we are saying gravitational force, which is directly proportional to product of the two masses and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. If I combine equation 1 and 2, student, what will we get? Combine 1 and 2. What do you get then? The force can be written as m by d square. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Now, students, what we have here, what you are finding, that F is proportional to m into m by d square. I can remove the proportionality constant by a constant which is written by big G, which is called gravitational constant. What we are calling G into m by d the square. ठीक है? This, what is a G, student? What is a G? G is a constant of proportionality and is called universal gravitational constant. Universal gravitational constant. When I say it is universal gravitational, it is clear that this value will not change. This value will not change. So this value is not changing. Okay, what we are trying to tell you now. Coming to very, very important result, student. This was my first. This is what we am calling as law of gravitation. But I am deriving, student. What I am deriving is the law of gravitation, or they call universal law of gravitation. Law of gravitation, or this is a universal law. Universal means applicable for all the objects, all the masses. So F is directly proportional to m into m. F is in, this is my equation 2. You combine 1 and 2, students, and you will get this. So F is equal to G. What is G? G is a constant known as gravitational constant. This is a universal gravitational constant. And the value of G was found, student. Value of G was found to be, the value of G was determined by a scientist called Henry Cavendish in 1731 to 18. As you can see, this was determined by Henry Cavendish, the value of G, by using a sensitive balance, and the accepted value is written here. How much? 6.673. 6.673 6.673 into 10 power minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. You can see this value is very, very small. As you can see, how much is this value? Very, very small. So the value is very, very small. What it means? The value is small means what, students? So what we are trying to say, that this value is very, very small. Therefore, if I will put the value here, this value you can see is very, very small. This was used by using the accepted value is what we are giving, student, to you. This is the accepted value which I am giving to you. So we know there exists a force of attraction between any two objects. Compute the value of this force between you and your friend sitting close by. Conclude how you do not experience this force. So student, this is a very important point here. Now, here I have used, what units I have used, students? Newton meter square per kg square SI units. If I want to calculate SI units of G, how will we find the SI units of G, student? This is the formula. G m into m divided by d square. So if I say what will be G, student? F into d square m by m. What is the SI unit of force?
Newton.
Distance?
Meter.
Meter square. Distance is meter square. ठीक है? What do you get? G is equal to F m into m by d square. So Newton meter square. And what are the units of mass?
Kilogram.
Into kilogram. So what you will get? Newton meter square kilogram minus 2. So this is what we are saying. And the value of G is how much? 6.673 into 10 minus 11. Now supposing your mass is 50 kg. Okay? And your mass is 50 kg, M1. And your friend's mass is, supposing you can take 60 kg, that will be. Now what will be the value of F then? And let us say the distance between two of you is, let us take, supposing I take 1 meter. 1 meter. Can you find what is the value of force then? What will be the value of force? What is the value of force then? Here. What is it coming, students? If I put these values here, if I'm putting these values here, what I'm getting? F is equal to, what is the value of G? 6.67 into 10 minus 11. Newton meter square by kg square. What is the value of this? 50 kg into 60 kg. They will get cancelled. And what is this? Distance 1 meter into 1 meter. Meter square get cancelled. What answer is coming then? 50 into 60, how much?
3000.
3000. Then it will be 6.67 into 10 minus 6.67 into 3 into 10 minus 3, then it minus 10 minus 8 into 3. How much newtons? Now you can see how small is this force. 10 minus 8. So there is a gravitational force between these two at 1 meter, but that force is how small? Negligible, insignificant. But if I calculate the gravitational force between your mass 50 kg and the mass of the earth, what will be that? So that will be very good number, and therefore this force will not be possible. We will not be attracted towards each other, but we will be attracted towards earth, because the mass of earth is very, very large. Got it?
Yes.
So you are not attracted by the objects which are around you, but earth's gravitational force is much, much bigger. Number one. Number two, you know, there is a force of friction also. So that is a reason we won't be attracted towards each other. We are not being attracted by the objects which are on the earth. So because you see the value of gravitational constant is very, very small, 6.67, 10 minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. This is the reason, student, that we won't get and we won't experience it. Okay, let us see what we are saying. So students, the law of universal in the sense is applicable to all bodies. So what you have learned till now, what I have taught you, that there is a gravitational force. Okay? And this is a universal force. This is universal. Means it exists between, when I say it is universal, what it means, student? When a force is universal, what is the meaning of this? A universal force means it exists between all objects which have masses. Okay? Between all bodies which have masses, how small the mass may be. Okay? Whether they are celestial, terrestrial, or anything. But, and this force is invisible. What do you find? Invisible. The force is it visible? No, it is acting at a distance. So we are not able to experience. Why? Because this force is very weak force. Is it a very strong force? Gravitational force? No. This is a weak force. And as is shown by the value of G. And this is directly proportional to product of the masses and inversely proportional to square of the distance. So as the distance will keep on increasing, the force will keep on decreasing by the squares. So if D gets bigger by a factor of 6, if D gets bigger by a factor of 10, what will happen to the force? It will be 1 by 100 times smaller. How much? 100 times smaller. So it will depend on the product of the masses and inversely proportional to square of the distance. Did you get what I say, student? Note down, very important, very, very important. But this is a universal law. Why it is a universal law? Why? What do we mean by universal law? It is applicable to all the objects. It is applicable to all the objects. Not that I'm saying it is only applicable to the motion of moon and earth or planetary motion. It is applicable to us also. It is applicable to any mass which is there on the earth. But we are not able to experience it because this is a very, very weak force. And the force, gravitational force between two objects, you can calculate by using the universal gravitational constant, capital G value, which is very, very small. What is the value of capital G? By now, we have
6.67 to 10 power 11.
Remember something, 6.7. I meant consider it 6.7 for my calculation into 10 minus how much?
11.
What are the units?
Newton meter square kg square.
Per kg square. So because of this small value, we won't be able to experience, and we are not going to be attracted by each other because we will be, the gravitational force will be much, much bigger and we will get attracted towards earth, not towards each other. And there is a force of friction also. All right, so we have got the idea that what is happening, students. Let us see some more interesting thing. Now, students, we are coming to another important point. He is saying mass of the earth is 6 into 10 power 24 kg and that of moon is 7.4 10 power 20 kg. If the distance between the earth and moon is 3.84 10 power 5. Calculate the force exerted by Earth on the moon. All right, you have 2 to 3 minutes to calculate and find out what is the force, ठीक है, exerted by Earth on the moon. What is the force exerted by Earth on the moon? What is the mass of the Earth, students? How much? 6 into 10 power 24 kg. What is the mass of the moon? How much? 7.4 into 10 power 22 kg. What is the distance between Earth and Moon? Three 3.84 into 10 power 5 kilometer. How much will be that in meter, student? SI unit? 10 power 8 meter. ठीक है? This is your Earth and this is your Moon. And the distance center of this is our distance D. That is the distance. What is the formula? What is the formula of the force, student? G mass of Earth into mass of Moon divided by the distance between the Earth and the Moon. What is the value of this? 6.7 10 minus 11 Newton meter square kg minus 2. What is the mass of Earth? 6 into 10 power 24 kg. Mass of Earth and mass of Moon 7.4 into 10 power 22 kg divided by 3.84 into 3.84 into 10 power 8 into 10 power 8 meter square. Cancel kg, kg, kg. What do we get, student? 6.7 into 6 into 7.4 into 7.4. 1, 2, 3 divided by 3.84 into 3.84. Let us see the 10 powers. Minus 11, 24. 24 plus 22. How much? 6. 6 and 4, 40. How much will be 24 plus 22? 46 minus 11. Minus 11. And how much will be this? 8 plus 8, 16 minus 16. Calculate this value, students. How much it is coming? Newtons. How many newtons it is coming?
2.02 into 10 power 20.
2.02 into 10 power 20 newtons. When I calculated, student, the force, when we calculated the force between the two boys or your two friends, what was that value? How much was this value? 6.67 into 3, 10 minus 8 newtons. Got it?
Yes.
And now you can see how much is this force. This force is appreciable, right? 2.02
Yes, sir.
into 10 power 20 newtons. In other words, students, Earth is attracting the moon by a force, gravitational force, which is equal to 2.02 into 10 power 20 newtons. Earth attracts the moon by which force? This. What do you think? Moon is also attracting the Earth?
Yes.
By what force? What is the force with which moon attracts the Earth? Moon also attracts Earth by the same force. By the same force. But we do not see Earth moving towards the moon. We do not see Earth orbiting around the moon, but moon is orbiting around the Earth. What could be the reason, students? What is the reason?
Sir, because mass of Earth is more, so acceleration would.
So the mass of Earth is, as you will see, much larger than the mass of the moon. 10 power 24, that is 10 power 22. So the acceleration of the moon will be much larger than the acceleration produced in the Earth. Therefore, Earth is not orbiting around the moon. Moon is orbiting around the Earth. Though both are exerting equal and opposite forces. But acceleration is, force is equal to F is inversely proportional to, force is equal to M into A, students. Therefore, acceleration, if same force is there, then acceleration is inversely proportional to mass. So acceleration is inversely proportional to mass, force is same. Equal forces are being exerted by both the masses, but acceleration produced are different, much smaller in Earth as compared to moon, because mass of Earth is much larger than the mass of the moon. So in the case of the planetary system, what happens? Sun is exerting a gravitational force, and planets are also exerting equal and opposite gravitational force, but the mass of the planets is much smaller than the mass of the sun. Therefore, they orbit around the sun. So we got the secret that what is gravitational force and what is universal law of the gravitation. So what is the importance of this universal law of gravitation? It binds us to the earth. It is responsible for the motion of moon around the earth. It is responsible for the motion of planets around the sun. The gravitational force of moon causes tides in seas on earth. All this we are experiencing in our everyday life. So that is important today. We have already told you this, what are the key takeaways for today's class. We already know that everybody, every object is attracting every other body with the force, which is called gravitational force. And why the moon is orbiting around earth, why the planets are orbiting around the sun, because of the gravitational force. And what is universal law of gravitation? There is always a gravitational force between two masses, which is directly proportional to the product of the masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. This is a very, very weak force. This is a very, very weak force, students. And there is a gravitational constant which we have discussed, capital G, the value of which was determined by Cavendish, 6.67 into 10 minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. All right, this ends up the lecture 1, and we'll meet you in our next class further. Okay, bye bye. See you.
Thank you, sir.